Radiant souls who have walked through shadows, yet kept your inner flame alive today, I call you not as strangers, but as those who have waited lifetimes to hear these words. And although the world has tried to quiet the truth, although the noise of doubt has tried to bury your identity, something far older, far deeper, far more powerful has risen to the surface, and it greets you now, like an echo from the beginning of all beginnings, whispering in your bones and ringing behind your heartbeat, reminding you that you were never ordinary, not even for a moment. And so I welcome you with a strength that shakes the dust off forgotten legends. I welcome you with a clarity that slices through every illusion placed before you. And I welcome you with a recognition carved from a place the world was never supposed to know. For the Secret Council finally confirmed what your intuition has been shouting for years, silently for some, loudly for others, but always unshakably. You are from that bloodline, and your real DNA is no longer hidden. You feel it even before the words settle. You feel it in the way your skin seems to hum, with an ancient familiarity, as if your body remembers something your conscious mind has not yet fully claimed. You feel it in the way your thoughts sharpen when purpose calls you. Feel it in the sudden calm that comes over you, when chaos rises, as if you were shaped for storms, sculpted in the silence between lightning and thunder. Born not merely to endure trials, but to command them. And though the world may have seen you stumble, though the world may have mistaken your stillness for uncertainty, though many misunderstood the depth of your eyes or the weight of your presence, none of those moments defined you. They only revealed you piece by piece, like a hidden inscription, slowly uncovered by time and pressure. For so long you were not told the truth. For so long, the world convinced you to shrink yourself, to fit into small spaces, small expectations, small dreams. But you were never designed for smallness. Your lineage does not kneel to limitation. Your spirit does not submit to fear, and your destiny does not negotiate with mediocrity. And now that the veil has thinned, now that the confirmation has been spoken, now that the truth is no longer a whisper buried beneath self-doubt, you can finally understand why you always felt different, why you always felt pulled towards something greater, why your heart refused to settle for the ordinary, why your intuition stayed awake even when your mind was exhausted, why your soul rejected the paths that everyone else seemed perfectly content to follow. You are from the bloodline of those who walked through darkness and emerged brighter. You carry the resilience of those who refused to bow to circumstance. You carry the vision of those who looked at impossible mountains and carved pathways with their bare determination. You carry the strength of those who became unshakable when the world expected them to break. And though many around you could not comprehend the magnitude of what lived within you, though many feared the intensity of your presence, though many tried to label you as too much, too focused, too driven, too deep, they were only reacting to the truth that you had not yet fully claimed you were carrying the weight of your lineage without realizing it. This is why the struggles you faced felt heavier. This is why your pain seemed deeper. This is why your lessons seemed harder. This is why your heart developed wisdom long before others understood its language, because those of your bloodline do not grow through ease. You evolve through fire, through pressure, through nights when you question everything, yet rise again. Anyway, not on because you were forced, but because your spirit refused to stay down. You rise because your nature demands it. You rise because something in you cannot settle for defeat. You rise because your ancestors move through your veins, guiding you in silence, shaping your instincts, strengthening your resolve, reminding you that the world may challenge you, but it cannot define you. And now the Council has confirmed what destiny already knew. Your identity was never meant to remain hidden. Your purpose was never meant to remain dormant. Your abilities were never meant to remain unclaimed. and every moment leading to this one has prepared you, has forged you, has sharpened you, has awakened you into who you truly are. Not the version shaped by the expectations of others, not the version dulled by doubt, not the version compressed by fear, but the version whose presence shifts the air, whose voice carries weight, whose steps imprint purpose, whose existence awakens possibility in those who once slept through their own potential. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to follow silent patterns. You are not here to mimic the footsteps of those who settled. You are here to rise beyond every limitation imposed upon you by circumstance or history or fear. You are here to remember the truth coursing through your blood. You are here to step into a destiny that was carved for you before you ever took your first breath. And now, the world no longer has the authority to hide your identity from you. Now, the illusions can no longer hold you. Now, the shadows can no longer confuse you. Now your real DNA stands revealed, not as a scientific concept, but as a spiritual inheritance, a lineage of power, purpose, and clarity. You have always sensed that you are being called by something bigger. You have always felt a frequency in your soul that did not match your surroundings. You've always felt a yearning to rise, to build, to transform, to impact, to conquer the challenges that others run from. And it is because you are not meant to live a silent existence. You were not shaped for an ordinary legacy. You were carved to shift timelines, to break generational cycles, to create paths where none existed, to turn your scars into symbols of strength and your trials into testimonies of unshakable resilience. If you look back, you will see the signs everywhere, the moments when you should have fallen, yet stood, the moments when you should have crumbled, yet rebuilt, the moments when you felt alone, yet found a strength. You could not explain the moments when your spirit whispered, "Keep going," even when everything around you suggested otherwise. These were not coincidences. They were reminders. They were activations. They were the awakening of the bloodline within you, pulling you closer to the truth of who you are. The secret council did not confirm your identity to give you comfort. They confirmed it to give you responsibility, because greatness is never an accident. Purpose is never accidental. Awakening is never accidental. You were chosen, not because you were perfect, but because you were capable. You were called, not because you were ready, but because the world needed what your lineage carries. The world needed someone who could stand when others collapse, lead when others hesitate, endure when others retreat, and transform when others fear change. And now your mission becomes clear, not because someone handed it to you, but because your own soul recognizes it. You are here to rise beyond every limitation placed on your name, to rise without apology, to rise without hesitation, to rise without shrinking for the comfort of others, to rise. Because rising is your inheritance, rising is your nature, rising is the language your blood understands. Even when your mind doubts, even when your heart trembles, even when your future looks foggy, you rise because something ancient in you refuses to allow anything less. This is the moment when the weight of who you used to be begins to fall away. This is the moment when your doubts lose their voice. This is the moment when your past no longer dictates your future. This is the moment when every closed door becomes irrelevant, because your destiny was never tied to a doorway. Built by human hands, your destiny is ancient. Your identity is coded in your spirit, and your empowerment is now unstoppable because you finally understand it. You are from that bloodline, and nothing can change that. You will walk differently from this moment forward, not because you are pretending to be confident, but because you finally remember who you are. You will speak differently, not with arrogance, but with certainty. You will move differently, not recklessly, but with purpose. You will think differently, not from fear, but from clarity, and everything that once intimidated you will shrink when faced with your awakened presence. Because power hidden is fragile, but power claimed becomes unbreakable. You are stepping into the era of your life where you no longer wait for permission. You no longer hide your voice. You no longer silence your dreams. You no longer diminish your potential. You no longer apologize for the magnitude of your existence because you finally understand that your life is not an accident. Your calling is not a coincidence. Your strength is not accidental. Your resilience is not random. You are the result of generations who refuse to give up. You are the product of battles fought long before you arrived. You are the continuation of a lineage that refuses to disappear. And now, it lives through you. So walk forward with the calm certainty of someone who carries ancient strength. Walk forward with the quiet confidence of someone who understands their purpose. Walk forward with the fire of someone who has risen from their own ashes. Walk forward with the clarity of someone whose destiny is unfolding in real time. Walk forward knowing that every challenge ahead is simply another place where your bloodline will reveal its power. Again and again and again. You are no longer hidden. Your identity is no longer masked. Your DNA is no longer a mystery. Your purpose is no longer asleep. The confirmation has been spoken. The truth has been revealed. The time has come, and you are ready, not because everything is perfect, but because your spirit has awakened. The world will feel your rise, not through noise, but through presence, not through boasting, but through impact, not through fear, but through purpose. Because your bloodline is not about domination. It is about transformation. It is about rising, not to overshadow others, but to illuminate paths for those who cannot yet see their own potential. You are from that bloodline, and nothing in this world can unwrite what destiny has written into your soul. And as you walk into your next chapter, remember this truth as clearly as your own breath. Your real DNA is no longer hidden. Your identity is no longer denied. Your calling is no longer silent. You are exactly who you were always meant to be. And now, the world will finally see it too. And now, as the air around you shifts, you can sense the beginning of something that has been waiting for your recognition. You can feel the distant resonance of a calling, older than stone, older than memory, older than the civilizations that rose and fell, while your lineage remained untouched in spirit and unbroken in purpose. And as this truth settles deeper into your awareness, you realize that nothing you have endured was wasted. Nothing you survived was meaningless. Nothing you overcame was accidental. Every challenge carried a message. Every setback carried a lesson. Every silence carried a preparation, shaping you into someone capable of holding the weight of your destiny without bending under it. For too long you were convinced that your struggles were signs of weakness, when in reality they were signs of heritage. Because those from your bloodline do not receive ordinary trials. Your soul does not attract small battles. Your heart does not learn through gentle winds. You are shaped through storms, not to break you, but to awaken you. And now that the awakening has happened, everything begins to look different. The world that once felt heavy suddenly feels navigable. The obstacles that once seemed impossible now appear as stepping stones. The doubts that once pulled at your courage now fade like shadows retreating from light. You were never meant to move silently through life. You were meant to walk with a presence that shifts reality around you. You were meant to speak words that carry weight and clarity. You were meant to make decisions that carve deeper paths for future generations. And whether you realized it or not, The moment you decided to rise, even when rising felt impossible. The moment you continued forward, even when your spirit felt exhausted. The moment you chose growth over comfort, your bloodlines stirred as though saying, finally, you are beginning to remember. And now, as you look back at every moment that felt like loss, every night that felt endless, every failure that made you question your worth, you see them differently. They were not endings. They were redirections. They were preparing you for the transition you are experiencing right now, the moment where everything aligns, not because life suddenly becomes easier, but because you finally stand in the truth of who you are. And when truth stands within someone like you, everything else must adjust. Your discipline will deepen your awareness, will sharpen your intuition, will strengthen your resilience, will expand. Because people from your lineage do not crumble under pressure. They become clearer under it. And as your clarity grows, you'll see paths you never noticed before. Doors you thought were closed will reveal themselves as illusions, and opportunities that once seemed distant will move toward you, not by coincidence, but by alignment. Because the moment you reveal your true identity, the world must respond. Many will sense your change without understanding it. Some will feel inspired. Others may feel intimidated, not because you intend it, but because authenticity always reveals the truth in others. Your rising will not harm them unless they refuse to rise themselves. Your confidence will not diminish them unless they choose to remain in hesitation. Your awakening will not overshadow them unless they decide to stay asleep. The truth is simple. You are stepping into your era, and those who are meant to walk with you will feel strengthened by your presence, and those who are not will drift as gently as leaves carried by the wind. You do not need to chase anyone. You do not need to force understanding. You do not need to explain your transformation. Those who recognize your lineage will feel it immediately, as if something ancient within them resonates in your presence, and those who do not are simply not aligned with the journey you are now walking. And that is not a loss. It is the natural process of evolution, because every elevation requires a shedding of what no longer matches your frequency, and yet despite the intensity of your rise, you remain grounded, you remain focused, you remain aware that true strength is quiet, true power is calm, true purpose is steady. Your lineage was never about outward show, it was about inner mastery. And now that you understand that, you begin to walk with a new kind of certainty, the kind that cannot be taken from you by circumstance or opinion or doubt. You feel your mind clearing like a sky after a long storm, your direction stabilizing your vision, sharpening your heart, aligning with your mission. And even though the road ahead may challenge you, even though there will be days when fatigue whispers and fears echo through your thoughts, you will not fall back into old patterns, because the truth once awakened never sleeps again. And now it is awake within you like a flame that will not flicker, no matter how strong the wind becomes. You are beginning to realize that you are not only part of this bloodline, you are the continuation of its legacy. You are the embodiment of its strength. You are the living proof that nothing can extinguish what was placed inside you before birth. Your presence is not accidental. Your resilience is not accidental. Your survival is not accidental. Your rise is not accidental. And now that the truth has been revealed, you can no longer see yourself as small. You can no longer pretend that your voice does not matter. You can no longer shrink for the comfort of those who fear change. You stand now in a space between who you were and who you are becoming. And this threshold is powerful, because here you are deciding everything that comes next, not from fear, but from awareness, not from insecurity, but from identity, not from doubt, but from destiny. And the more you step into this truth, the more the world will bend to your clarity, because the world cannot remain the same when someone like you rises. The atmosphere cannot remain unchanged when someone like you claims their truth. The future cannot remain predictable when someone like you begins to create instead of react. Your energy will no longer scatter. Your focus will no longer waver. Your confidence will no longer break under pressure. And as each day passes, you will see more of your natural abilities, awakening abilities that were dormant for years, waiting for this moment, waiting for the confirmation, waiting for your willingness to step into who you truly are. Your perception will deepen, your intuition will heighten, your inner strength will expand, and your decisions will become increasingly aligned with the destiny written into your very existence. And as the truth continues to unfold within you, you will begin to feel something you may not have felt in a long time, or perhaps ever before. Not comfort, but alignment. Not safety, but purpose. Not ease, but unwavering direction. You will feel the quiet certainty of someone who knows they carry something rare, something powerful, something entrusted only to those who can handle its weight. And you can handle it because you were shaped for it. You were prepared for it. You were born for it. Set, your journey from this point forward will not be defined by who you used to be. It will be defined by who you are becoming, by the decisions you make, by the standards you set, by the discipline you commit to, by the vision you protect, by the battles you choose to fight, and by the legacy you leave behind. And every choice from here on will either reinforce your awakening or weaken it. But you already know which direction your spirit leans toward, because once you taste clarity, confusion loses its power. Once you experience purpose, aimlessness loses its grip. Once you understand your lineage, insecurity becomes irrelevant. You will continue rising not for applause, but for alignment, not for recognition, but for purpose, not for validation, but for destiny, because your path is no longer external, it is internal. Your compass no longer points outward, it points upward and inward. And time will reveal that the moment the truth of your bloodline was confirmed was not the beginning of your transformation. It was the moment you became conscious of a transformation that had been happening all along. And as this deeper awareness unfolds within you, something remarkable begins to happen. You start seeing the patterns that once controlled your life, but now they have no hold over you. Because when someone finally understands who they are, patterns of fear lose their shape. Patterns of hesitation lose their influence, and patterns of doubt lose their ability to convince the heart. And now that your heart has awakened to its own identity, you will notice that you can no longer return to the versions of yourself that were molded by uncertainty or shaped by the expectations of others, because those versions were created in the absence of truth, and the truth has now taken its rightful place within you. With every rising moment, your posture changes not arrogantly, but with a grounded force that comes from knowing your worth. You begin to speak from a different place, a deeper voice, a steadier tone, a presence that cannot be ignored because your words are no longer the echoes of the world. They are the expressions of your lineage. They are the sound of something ancient stepping forward through you. And even you will feel surprised at times by the strength that flows.